Welcome back to another Talkers on the Wall video. We got Last of Us Season 2 coming in today. I actually just finished the episode about 15 minutes ago. And this is going to be one of those videos where I'm just going to be by myself, just doing a quick, more so rant, or just kind of a list off of what I liked, what I didn't like. Now, it's kind of crazy that Last of Us Season 1 was I believe it was 2023, so quite a big jump. And if I'm being honest, pretty much there's not a whole lot of hype going into Season 2 based on what I've seen. More so people are ready to be hating on it. I personally watched a playthrough. I didn't play Last of Us Part 2, but I just wasn't really that excited for it. I didn't find the game that fun to view, and certainly I don't think I'd have a better time if I was playing. But regardless, the game's the game and the show's the show. So let's get on to the show of Last of Us Season 2, Episode 1. Now, I guess we should start off with the good parts, because there was actually quite a bit of stuff that I liked with this. For one, I would just say the dialogue is a lot better in the show than the game. I mean, which could be expected. I felt like the game was very corny, and the way characters talk to each other, I didn't really feel like a normal human conversation. Even though there are infected zombies in this world, these still are normal humans to a certain extent. But I just didn't find that in the game. And it was just a lot better in the show. I know I said I wasn't gonna talk to the game about the games, but honestly, it's gonna end up kind of being contrasting to where the negatives are, or to where the positives are, to where the negatives were in the game. So I will be talking about the game in that certain aspect. And yeah, so another thing too is just the scenes with Joel. They felt very, very genuine, as he made a terrible mistake, maybe not to himself, but for the world, and he has a lot of guilt with that. And it feels good, it feels good that he's getting therapy and stuff, and even his therapist is you are hiding stuff from me, Joel, and I know you're trying to get help so you can be a better dad to Ellie, but it's just you're just kicking the can down the road. You're saying you're doing these things to better yourself, but unless you really admit it, then it's not gonna really help you heal, because you're still hiding the burden of knowing that and just creating that terrible mistake. Now I'd say that scene with this therapist, or Gail, I believe her name was really cool. I mean, it was fun, and even her was I'm just I need to confess stuff too. I hate you, Joel, for what you did to my husband, and I hate that I'm helping you. Which I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't think that was in Season 1. I don't know if it's gonna end up in the future, but I just I didn't really know who Eugene was. I might be a casual for that. And yeah, Joel interacting with Dina, to the audience's first time, it felt genuine. The whole Joel becoming a father to again, and more so in this teenage role for Ellie. And it's he's just trying to be a good dad, but he doesn't know how to do it. And it's it's believable. It's believable to an extent, and I do feel for Joel, because I believe his heart is in the right place when it comes to being with Ellie, as far as the father. And yeah, I mean, every scene that Joel's in, I thought was very good to serviceable. Nothing groundbreaking, but I'd say my favorite part of this whole start of this season is the whole civilization in Jackson. I felt it was very fun. When you go into these apocalypse shows and all that, it's more so just constant on the run and all that, and it feels very cool that they have a successful civilization, which is you really don't see that. And really the way they govern it makes sense. Everyone has a role, and it's I feel like the vibes are great. I love how it's like snowy. Feel like that fits like The Last of Us super well. I mean, it was snowy in season 1, but like, you know, it doesn't really matter. Just the vibes. It looks great. The cinematography's fine. The music's fine. Tommy's a cool character. Tommy's family's really cool. But yeah, and then I'll just go more so into Dina. You know, I didn't really like Dina in the game, but I do like Dina in the show. I feel like Dina adds a fun layer. You know, I feel like her conversations with Ellie were, you know, were believable, and you know, I wasn't like blown away, but I don't plan to be blown away by this show. I just more so just want to give it a fair look on either side, because people are going to be saying the show's terrible, and then people are going to be saying the show's amazing, and I'm kind of in between that. I think it's going to have moments where it's going to be pretty good, and then I'm going to have moments where I'm like, okay, that was stupid, it's pretty bad. But yeah, I thought Dina was fun. You know, dialogue kind of goes into that. Like, dialogue was kind of vague, so more so like how she talks to Ellie, how she talks to Joel, is pretty cool. You know, and the dance scene with Dina and Ellie, I thought that was pretty cool, and you know, it felt genuine, which the game doesn't feel genuine. So props to the show for that. And I kind of had a gut feeling that they would do that, but you know, I was a little bit worried. Now, let's just get a little bit more into the negatives. Now, it might be like a less like ticky-tack stuff like the pros were, but the cons did kind of weigh a little bit bigger. So I would say the scenes with Ellie were sometimes like, okay, this is cool. Like, I like Ellie in the scene. And then there's just times where Ellie is just so cringe. I'm like, oh my god, get her off the screen, please. Like, when Tommy's like, you know, you just don't tell people you're immune. And then she's like, I'm immune. Like, just yelling to the mountains. They're like complete. I was like, oh, come on. That's so. And then like, I feel like every time that Ellie acts out, she's like, oh, she's just like Joel. Like, no, like that excuse can't happen 4 times in one episode. Like, come on. Like, there was a scene where I guess I'll go more to that. I'll just straight in go to the next con then. Pretty much like the lack of restrictions on Ellie and, you know, more so Dina. You know, they just never follow the rules of like their like captains on like their patrol. Like, it's like, you know, you have to follow everything that your captain's saying. Sure thing, Tommy. As soon as like before they even leave, they're like being like disobedient, and like he's even like the captain's like, dude, just come on, just help me out, and they're like, ooh. It's like, okay, bro, like it's very annoying, and you just know that nothing's ever gonna happen. And then when they actually go out on the patrolling, they're like, we're gonna check out this building because we think there might be people in there, when really they just want to run off and they have like no business doing it. And then like their captain's like, I don't know, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna check it out, and they're like, oh, okay. And it was just very stupid. And then pretty much where they go check it out, they end up getting separated, Ellie and Dina, and Ellie's like in this abandoned like bottom, I guess, like in another level of like this like store or whatever it is, but she ends up getting like baited by this human clicker type of thing, and it like tricks her, and that was, I mean, it was fun. It felt like a little bit more of a horror like aspect, which I think they should deep dive more into, because, you know, like, how annoying is it going to be? This is going to be for 3 seasons, and they're going to have a zombie be like tracking them like in a room for like, it's going to get very boring very quick. So I would more like to go into more creative ways they can use clickers, zombies, you know, infected, whatever you want to say. But yeah, then it ends up jumping on Ellie, and of course Ellie is immune, but it literally like it's on her for like 10 seconds, and Ellie ends up killing it. and like Dina goes like finally gets there and she's like, "Are you okay?" And then it shows like just one like tiny bite mark, like literally like the thing I was envisioning is just literally a fucking Squidward bite like on the Krabby Patty when he has like the horse teeth. Like, come on, what are we doing? Like, if this was any other character, their stomach would be like wide open. Like, just because she's immune like doesn't mean that she can't take other like damage from it, you know, like getting hacked and slashed. So I felt that was very stupid. But yeah, like a lot of these cons relate to Ellie, and personally that does not bode well for how I view the rest of the season and then eventually season 3. But you know, the surrounding bits of, you know, Jackson, I guess kind of just wrapping it up to more of a whole, I think Jackson's really cool, like obviously like the city in Wyoming. I think the dialogue's fine. The characters come off very genuine as far as relationships goes. It's really just gonna come down to how well they can make Ellie, because even in the game, I know I said I wasn't gonna bring it up, but you know, I lie sometimes. But even in the game, it just is all right. And her relationship with Joel is pretty much clear cut with the game, which I think is fine. I mean, it's literally just like teenage daughter like trying to be a good dad type of role, even though like Joel's not a good person based on like what he's done. And yeah, that's more so of what I think. As far as giving this episode like rating it out of 10, I'd probably give it like I'd probably say 7.5. I think that will be a pretty clear cut of like what I'm going to be, like that 7 to 7.5 range, at least for the first couple episodes, and then it might drop down. But I mean, I'm not going to fully commit to that because I have no idea how they're going to operate it. So yeah, that was more so just a list of pros and cons what I had for this. So if you're enjoying Last of Us Season 2 and you're enjoying this video, be sure to be like tuned in, because there's going to be a lot more coming out with The Last of Us 2. But anyway, y'all have a good day.